Okay, I think there's some issue with Sonia's audio. So let's do one thing. We will try to now get along on the show and get you some. First of all, let's tell you what all is lined up on the show. Of course, we have. Our technical experts who are now joining us to make sense of the market, and then we'll get fundamental experts as well. Ashwini Gujral, Mitesh Thakkar, and Prakash Kaba all join us. Good afternoon. Ashwini, there's a pullback that was sold into. Your thoughts on the index movement today and your stock calls?
See, I think we had two pieces of decent bad news, and that has not broken down the range. I think from the gap down for the day, you are not even down 20-30 points. So that way, the range bound nature of the market, it is my sense, continues, and you can't say again that this is a breakdown. For that, we possibly need to get below 8,900. Now, as people can see, there are several stronger stocks also. So given that today you had your big downside and shorts coming in, etc. Today is the sort of day where you want to buy the stronger stocks. Shriram Transport, that is a buy with a stop of 650, target of 685. RIL is a buy with a stop of 1440 and look for targets about 1500. And Sun Pharma is a buy with a stop of 480 and look for targets about 520.
Okay, pharma continues to be a buy. Thanks, Ashwini, for that. Mitesh Thakkar is also joining in. Mitesh, what would you do, or do you expect a resumption of the downside, and what are the stocks on your radar right now?
Yeah. So I think, we are still kind of into some consolidation. I think the Nifty is repeatedly failing around the 9,300 mark. It's had some intraday forays about that, but a decisive breakout above 9330, 9350 zone is not happening. So that being the upper end of the range, I think on the downside, there are two levels to watch out for. The pivot first is at about 9080 and then 8820. So broadly looks like a 500-point range within which 9080 could be the midpoint pivot or the trend decider in the short term. Below that, I think, traders can be slightly negative, and above that, slightly positive. For the timing, the calls that I have are two sell calls. Infratel has broken down, so that's a sell with a stop at 156 for targets of 144, and IDFC First Bank is a sell with a stop at 2290 for targets of 21.
Okay, fair enough. Prakash, good afternoon. Your calls?
Good afternoon, Anuj. I would like to view the recent high of 9390 with respect, unless it gets taken out. Now, taken out with force, I mean. Just not taken out. So I would say that let's respect that. I would respect that. So far in the morning, I was looking for an upmove to short into. That's worked out so well, and I feel it's coming down. Once we break 8,900, we'll see perhaps a rush coming in. So far, I don't see strength. A, B, banks not supporting. Banks need to support. And the futures are trading at discount. So there is a weakness out there, apparently. Anyway, I have two stocks, one long, one short. Hero Motors possibly can go up from here. Very good chance we can see Hero Motor climb to around 2,000 zones, stop below 1,900. Stock that looked weak is Bajaj Finance. That was stock that I gave in the morning as well. I modified the targets to lower to around 1,900 zones, stop about 2,050 in Bajaj Finance. Should just be fine.
Okay, we have SP Tulsan of sptulsan.com now joining us in this discussion, and along with him, Deepan Mehta of Elixir Equities. Good afternoon, Mr. Tulsian. I remember the point you were making on Bajaj Finance that, once it moves towards 2,000, you'll have HNI liquidation. Now, are you sensing that in delivery volumes, and what's the call now on the stock? At what point does it become a buy, if at all?
That's right, Anuj, and if just to support my argument, if you see today's chart, maybe at around after quarter to 2 at 145, when the stock, touched to a level of 2,000 rupees, closer to about 2,000, maybe plus minus 10 rupees, you see the delivery volume having increased. You will see the delivery bar, I think, in this last maybe 1 hour, because since I'm referring it from 145, now it is 245. I think there is a delivery selling off about maybe 12 to 15 lakh shares having pressed. That's the point. I have been saying that 2,000 rupees is the Lakshman Rekha, and once it crosses, then you will see the stock falling like by the HNIs. Because as I have said about 3-4 days back or a week back, that 45 HNIs are holding 2,40,000 shares by each HNI. Now come on the delivery pattern. If you see for the last 1 week or so, the delivery selling has increased from 10 lakh on an average to about 20 lakhs per day. That reminds me of the June or maybe September 2018 NBFC crisis, when the share price of the Bajaj Finance fell on the delivery volume of 10 lakhs from 3,000 to 2,000. Come on the management commentary that they are having the liquidity of about 12,000-13,000 crore, but mind it that the companies have taken the deposit of about 20,000-21,000 crore as well. And now with the Franklin fiasco seen today, obviously there will be run off the withdrawal on the deposit money if that comes in. I'm not saying that people will not take that call. And if that comes in, that will hamper the liquidity situation. Now, finally, since you have asked me that what is the scenario ahead, companies now having a market cap of 1,20,000 crore, which we have been closely watching, that once it breaches 2,000 rupees share price, the next support level is at maybe 1 lakh crore market cap. Because for many of the companies, we go by the market cap criteria also, what we have taken in case of Reliance Industries. So here also for the Bajaj Finance, maybe from 1,20,000 crore to about 1 lakh crore, and with the view of next 1 month or so. Because if you see the situation now, we are in fact yesterday, if you recall, I've said that the cautious view is seen being cautious view is seen for tomorrow, because yesterday only 5 stocks made the Nifty to move up or indices to move up. HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, Kotak. Out of these 3, 2 are already seen weak, having reversed all the gain. TCS and Infi made the Nifty to move up, and both are down whatever gain we have seen yesterday. So yes, coming specifically again on Bajaj Finance, the next level or maybe the level to watch will be market cap of 1 lakh crore, which translates into a share price of anywhere between 1,750 to 1,800. So this time I will be giving a range of 1,750 to 1,800, and definitely within this interim period, for whether that lasts for a couple of weeks or 1 week, because April series is a very crucial for the overall for many of the performer of the stocks as well. Maybe like Reliance Industries on the upside, HDFC Limited on the upside, HDFC Bank on upside, ICICI Bank on upside, Bajaj Finance on the lower side, Kotak Bank on the lower side. So we will be keeping the cautious view on Bajaj Finance, since it has broken the support level of, or maybe the psychological level of 2,000 crore rupees, where the delivery selling has started accelerating.
Okay, so maintain a cautious view on Bajaj Finance. It's been a massive slide. I mean, if you look at the 3-month chart of Bajaj Finance, the stock is down 60% in 3 months. It's almost close to UBS's target. Remember, UBS last week downgraded Bajaj Finance with a target price of 1,600. It's getting there. But Dipan Mehta of Elixir Equities also joins in to give us his view. Dipan, good afternoon. I wanted your thoughts on this whole Franklin fiasco, because we're getting a lot of queries from equity investors of Franklin equity funds as to whether they should redeem their money or not. And of course, debt investors as well. I'm sure you've been getting a lot of queries too. What is your advice now?
I think the equity mutual funds, whether it's Franklin Templeton or any other AMC, are perfectly safe. I think Franklin Templeton had a liquidity issue, and that liquidity problem should not be there with most large cap or multi-cap oriented equity funds. So I'm not concerned about any spillover effect on account of this particular event having any impact on the secondary markets as far as liquidity or selling pressure is concerned. And I think that it's a one-off kind of an event, and it's not going to impact equity mutual funds. I think a lot of equity mutual funds have been investing in the bluest of blue chip companies. And if you see the volumes on the stock market, they are extremely reasonable, and I would say almost at normal levels. So I don't think that selling shares if a redemption pressure does come on any equity mutual fund is that much of a problem. So one should reassure equity investors that equity and debt funds are totally different, and liquidity, depth and liquidity in both markets also are completely different.
Fair enough. Let's do one thing. We will take a break on that note with the news that the bank Nifty is really the problem, though it's off the lowest point of the day once again, about 100 points recovered. And the Nifty is once again trying to get back above the 9,200 mark. Reliance, of course, has been the big support for the market today. So that stock continues to do well. We will take a break on that note. Once we come back, we have Siddharth Bothra of Motilal Oswal AMC also joining us.